Well, good morning. Yes, it's me, Kenny Polcari, your host of the party, and today is Tuesday, May 21st, 2024, and it is, as you can see, another spectacular day here in South Florida. The skies are blue once again. There are no clouds above, which suggests to me that's going to be another gorgeous day, and maybe the same can be said for the market. So let's see, what are the things that you need to know to get your day started? Well, how about the RSI, right? The Relative Strength Index. We talked about that. We'll get to that in a moment. They put lame duck Loretta Mester, Cleveland Fed president, out there in the media yesterday, and she says that 3 rate cuts are inappropriate. The focus, though, for traders remains squarely on Nvidia. Oil is flat, gold is up, and the Bloomberg Commodity Index is trading at 2023 highs. There are 6 Fed heads that are due to speak today. And what do we have for dinner tonight? We're going to have the Orecchietti pasta. It is delicious and simple to make. Okay, so remember what I said about the RSI yesterday, right? The Relative Strength Index. I said that the RSI for the Dow was now at 70.2374, putting us in official overbought territory. Remember, 70 is the dividing line. So if you were a buyer, all it means is be patient. Caution ahead. There's maybe some weakness coming, so patience is a virtue. And if you're a seller, it means maybe you want to act just a bit quicker to get out, if that's what you want to do, than not. And while it alone is not a blatant sell signal, it is an indicator of potential weakness ahead. Not necessarily disaster, just some weakness. And yesterday, the Dow lost 197 points, or 0.5%. Now, the others who were not in overbought territory continue to move up, right? With the exception of the transports, which also declined by 72 points, or about 0.5%, right? The S&P gained 5 points, the Nasdaq added 109 points, or 0.7, leaving it just 206 points away from the 17,000 mark, a milestone, which I think it's going to hit on Thursday. The Russell gained 7 points, and the S&P equal weight gained 9 points. Now, Nvidia, which lost 2% on Friday last week, dragging down the Nasdaq, added those lost points and then some to yesterday's trading, gaining 23 points, or 2.5%, and that certainly helped the Nasdaq push higher. And it only added to the excitement that I think we're going to see in the after-hours session on Wednesday afternoon, the day that Nvidia releases their earnings. Remember, we've all been talking about this. It's a day that we're all waiting for. Now, the market awaits. This is a highly anticipated event. The stakes are high for both the tech sector and investors. Nvidia sits at the nexus of the AI revolution that has been mostly responsible for the powerful bull market we are all living. Investors are sitting and waiting patiently for Jensen Huang to take the stage, right? Jensen Huang is the CEO, right? He's going to take the stage and announce the numbers and offer forward guidance that many hope will satisfy the insatiable needs of investors, along with the insatiable demand for its chips. Can Huang continue to wow us? The smart money says it can. Recall yesterday I told you that net income is expected to be up 768% year over year. Margins are up 55.5%, and expected revenues are $24.5 billion, or a 265% increase year over year. But I also said that the revenue whisper number was $26 billion. So the question is, if we get $24.5 billion, will investors, traders, and algos be disappointed? It sounds dumb, right? I get it. I mean, how could anyone be disappointed if Nvidia grew revenues by 265%? Well, as illogical as it sounds, it could happen. The algos could do that, right? They could absolutely do that. Recall how the algos and traders were selling Nvidia in February ahead of that earnings report, right? They took 10% out of the name in 3 days over concerns that they were going to miss, or they were going to disappoint. And then they announced, and guess what? Not only did they not miss, but they didn't disappoint either. They offered stronger forward guidance, and all the algos that sold the stock in the prior 3 days were the first ones to turn around and go, oh my God, I got to get back in. And they took the stock up 11% in 1 day, and they took it up another 37% over the weeks that followed into over the next month, really, right? All I know is if they hit the expected number of $24.5 billion, then I'm not disappointed. I am not disappointed at all, but I'm just one man. So here's another question, right? What do you think? Are you going to be disappointed? Jensen Huang do you think that he's unaware of what's riding on this? Do you think he doesn't know what the estimates and the expectations are? Do you think that he's going to wait until earnings day to make a surprise weaker announcement? Do you think that he wouldn't have pre-announced some concerns to prepare the markets if there were going to be a disappointment? Have you tried the latest version of ｃhatGPT 4.0 Plus? If not, I'd say give that a try and then understand that it all runs on Nvidia chips. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think Huang is setting us up for disappointment at all. But look, that's me. You do you. This morning, the stock is quoted up another $3 at 951.50/952, right bid and offer. Now, the Nasdaq gained 108 points yesterday, or 0.6%, leaving it just 1.2% away from that key 17,000 level, another milestone, as long as we're talking milestones, right? I said I thought Nasdaq would pierce it this week and that Nvidia would be the catalyst. We are within a hair, just that 1.2%. You can feel the excitement. And then they send out Cleveland Fed President Loretta Mester, and she's told us that 3 rate cuts in 2024 is no longer appropriate, noting that inflation risk has moved up and that the economy is stronger than she originally anticipated, that she is unsure of where her dot is going to land on the dot plot when they publish it in June. Actually, I think it's June 11th and 12th. That's when the meeting is, right? And by the way, she's retiring. Now, that's interesting, isn't it? They put up a lame duck Fed president to tell the markets that 3 cuts are no longer appropriate, knowing that she does not have a say in what happens next. So the markets discounted her comments, in my opinion. On a side note, as of today, there's been no replacement that's been named yet for her, so there's no indication of what the next Cleveland Fed president may think or will think. So we have to we have to leave open and see who they nominate, who they appoint, and who the person is. Now, only 4 of the 11 S&P sectors moved up. Tech, the biggest winner, it was up 1.2% yesterday. Industrials, communications, and basic materials were the other 3. All of the other sectors gave up ground. Financials getting hit the worst, down about 1.5%. Bond prices fell just a bit, and that pushed the 10-year yield up to 4.44%, and the 2-year up to 4.82%. Nothing really dramatic there either way. There was no economic data yesterday, and today all we're going to get is the Philly Fed non-manufacturing, think services index. Wednesday brings us mortgage apps and existing home sales, which are expected to be up 0.6%. The FOMC minutes, where I do not expect to hear anything that's different from what we already know. The dollar index, which has been in decline on the idea that the Fed is cutting rates. Lower rates mean the dollar becomes less attractive, so therefore people sell the dollar, continues to trade at 104.50. The VIX continues to trade at the lows. This morning we begin the day at 12:44. Remember, it's just one catalyst away from igniting a fire, so just keep that in mind, because we could get hit just out of left field when you least expect it. And oil didn't really move much after yesterday. It's still trading at 79.80-ish in that range as investors digest the most recent data around U.S. and Chinese demand. In addition, I think OPEC Plus is expected to continue to offer their production cuts going through, in my mind, the end of the year. Gold, which soared last week, pushing up into 2,400, traded as high as 24.77 yesterday. Again, because they won't stop the rate cut narrative. They're still pushing multiple rate cuts before the end of the year, in addition to the geopolitical concerns that are out there, right? You could also argue that inflation is reacting to inflationary concerns, right? Have you seen the latest Bloomberg Commodity Index? It's up 7% since May 1st, and it is at the highest level since January of 23. Prices of everything are up. Oil, gold, copper, silver, corn, soybeans, live cattle, hogs, coffee, sugar, wheat, and the list goes on. But even that has failed to derail the idea of multiple rate cuts this year, which is amazing to me. It's illogical. I mean, it's a complete divorce from reality. Now, this morning, U.S. futures were pointing slightly lower, nothing to be panicked about. Dow futures down 10, S&P's down 2, Nasdaq was down 30, the Russell's down 3. With no real economic data that's going to drive the action, the focus is going to remain on Nvidia and AI and what that means for the world and what that means for markets and investors. Currently, the options market is pricing in an 8.6% move in the stock, depending on what Huang says. So I'm betting the move is up. But if they continue to take the stock higher today and tomorrow, in anticipation of what might be an expected better number, then I fully expect that all the trader types are going to hit the sell button the minute the news comes out to try to lock in those profits, right? Because they're going to buy it, it's going to go up. Trader types, they don't care. They're going to lock in profits. That's it. As a long-term investor, though, don't get drawn into that fray, right? Don't let it cloud your mind. European markets are lower as well this morning. Italy continues to get whacked down another 1.4%. France is down 1%. There's no economic data to speak of, and the pullback is more consolidation after the recent run. FOMC minutes are out tomorrow, along with the UK inflation print, which is expected to show a sharp decline, which only emboldens the Bank of England rate cut narrative. The S&P closed at 5308. I was up 5 points yesterday. The markets continue to churn in place, awaiting the FOMC minutes and the Nvidia earnings. Fed Governor Christy Waller is due to appear on CNBC at 11 o'clock this morning. Other Fed heads that are speaking today include Richmond's Tommy Barkin, New York's Johnny Williams, Atlanta's Rafi Bostic, Boston's Susie Collins, and again, on her ongoing farewell tour is Cleveland's Loretta Mester, will take the stage again as well. Now the question is, will these other members of the Fed support Loretta or not? Remember, she's a lame duck, so not supporting her would not be a surprise because she's got nothing to say after June. But my gut tells me that they sent her out to lay the groundwork for what's now going to be a no rate cut narrative. And that's why I'm interested to see what Waller and the others have to say and how they say it. So sit tight. The fun is just beginning. Okay, so I'm sorry for all this noise. They're cutting lawns around here, doing all that stuff, keeping the place all nice and beautiful. But that's what they do down here in Florida, right? It's gorgeous. Look at this. Okay, what do we have for dinner tonight? We're having this Orecchietti, which is like a little ear pasta. You know what it is, with sweet sausage and a tomato burrata sauce, all right? It is delicious and simple to make. So for this, you need 1 pound of Orecchietti pasta, 1 pound of sweet Italian sausage. I use it without the fennel, but if you like fennel, get it with the fennel. You want to take it out of the casing because you want to brown it all up. You need cherry tomatoes sliced in half. You need a burrata cheese ball. You need olive oil, basil, garlic, salt and pepper, and a little bit of oregano. You want to start by bringing a pot of salted water to a rolling boil and put it on the back burner so it's ready when you need it. In a large saute pan, you're going to add a splash of olive oil, and then you're going to start by browning the sausage. Break it all up, brown the sausage. Once it's all browned, using a slotted spoon, remove the sausage and just place it in a bowl, leaving that on the side, but leaving the oil in the pan. Now you're going to add the sliced tomatoes and the sliced garlic. You're going to season it with salt and pepper, saute them until they begin to break down. It's usually about 5 to 8 minutes when the tomatoes start to break down. Now, put the pasta in the pasta water, let that cook for 8 minutes. While that's happening, using your slotted spoon again, remove about 3/4 of the tomatoes from the saute pan and put it in a food processor. Drop in the burrata cheese ball, 3 or 4 basil leaves, and a shake of oregano. Blend it really well. It turns into this nice, creamy, delicious sauce, and then set it aside. When the pasta's done, using your slotted spoon, add the pasta directly to the saute pan with the balance of the cherry tomatoes. Now add the sauce you just made, toss it all to mix it. Now take the sausage, add that, and a handful or two of grated Parmigiana cheese. Continue to mix it so it gets all nice and creamy and yummy, coating all the pasta. If you need to, you can always add a ladle of the tears of the gods, the pasta water, to keep it moist. Then you want to serve it immediately with a nice chilled white wine. This is delicious. Oh my God, they're cutting lawns all over the place here. It's so noisy. In any event, it is a gorgeous day. It is Tuesday, May 21st. Until tomorrow, take good care.